Okay, so hi everybody and welcome back. For those of you that have been here before with us, so we're on week 2, day 3 of our lunchtime series of webinars, and today we're going to bring you another really useful tool, some information on a really useful tool for supporting our students or end user with reading and writing. So today we're going to look at TextHelp Read and Write. The version we're looking at today is the version for Windows, and it's the online version. But there are also many other options with this particular tool. So you can have the online version is available on all platforms. So your MacBook, your Windows, your Chromebook, and your Android tablets and your iPads. You can see here on the left hand side there at the bottom, the interface, it has all the same features, but it just looks a little bit different for each one of those devices. It is an online tool and it is for helping with reading and writing. I suppose this particular tool originated in the SIN area, so but today it's being used by a variety of people to support them. It is available online, and like I said, that's the one that's going to be demonstrated today. It's also available as a standalone, so you can get a perpetual license for this, and a lot of colleges will have that version of it. I think it's version 11.5. So colleges are usually very familiar with this particular software. And like I said, the interface is very similar. The online version might have one or two more additional useful things, you know, like text-to-speech on it. But like I said, there is the standalone license, and that standalone license is available by EdTech here in Ireland anyway, is one of the resellers for it. The version today, like I said, it's the online version, and again, it's a 14-day trial, and there's also a subscription after that depending on your needs. And the one that we are looking at today is the education one. So having a look now at the key features. So again, I suppose because it's online, it's very similar to the tool that we looked at yesterday. So it's available to us anywhere, anytime, and on any device. So that's, I suppose, that's a real selling point for it. Again, similar to yesterday, just to mention, because of that, because it's an online tool, you do need to have access to the internet. Another feature with it is that it will read a Word document, it'll read web pages, and it'll read PDFs. It can also, we'll say, in particular, I suppose, it has an optical character recognition built into it, so your OCR reader, and that's particularly nice, you know, if there's documents that are scanned in and some of the softwares won't read that out, this will actually, you can change this over into a PDF and it'll then read that document for you. So you will see teachers a lot of the time, they might scan in documents for the student or scan a book in, and then the software won't read it, but this actually has that feature built into it where you can change it over. You can adapt it to suit the needs of the end user. Really nice features, I suppose, on the toolbar for this is that it can grow with the end user or the student. So you can start off with just a few of the tools, and then as they progress from primary to secondary, you can add in some more tools, and then as they progress from secondary school on to college, you can add in those research tools and those additional tools that you know will really benefit them. A lovely feature within it is the dictionaries, and there's the dictionary that will, you know, look up words, so you can select a word within your document, you click on dictionary and it'll read that out to you. But you also have the added benefit of a picture dictionary as well, so it gives you a visual of what that word is and an option then to look it up as well and get more information. And once you click into it, it pops up when you select the word, and you'll see it in the demo in a short while because Julianne is going to do the demo today. You'll see that once that little box pops up, you can click into that and it'll read the information for you as well. It works as a scanner, like I said, for that OCR, for those OCR type documents. Again, with this tool, you can make audio version of it. Again, it's very easy to use this tool, and that's for really useful for on the go, so, or for our auditory learners as well. You've got the screen masking as well. So that tool, again, we looked at that yesterday, and it's really useful for focusing in on the on a particular piece in the document, and being able to focus in on that. Another nice feature on this is that if you have, you can put a colour across masking the whole screen that might really support the person with the words, if the words are hopping or jumping in them. But also there's an option where if you have their RGB number from an optician, you can actually put in the actual RGB numbers. So that's really accurate in supporting and very specific in supporting the end user, the student. It makes it really personalised to them. And a really nice feature is voice notes. So you can pop in a little voice note into your document as a reminder of something, or if a teacher is working with you or a lecturer on the document, they can pop in a voice note for you to say, oh look, maybe have a look at this a bit more. Again, for those students or end users that prefer that auditory feedback. So who is this most suitable for? So I suppose, again, I think these tools are suitable for everybody. I think they would benefit everybody throughout school, college and work. They're ideal for anyone, I suppose, struggling with reading and writing. I suppose this tool is specifically built for those people, especially students with dyslexia or who may have visual impairment, or EAL students. And I suppose many more people who may not identify with having a specific difficulty, but they can struggle with reading and writing. So it's really suitable for those. It's really useful as, for supporting study. There's lovely features in it for researching. So as I said earlier, as students get older, being able to go in and add on those features. So it's not overwhelming from the get-go. All those features aren't there at the start, but they're built on as they're learning how to use the tool. Different learning styles, again, it's that universal design, going back to that again, and looking at all the tools that are available to you that can supplement or support your learning. And I suppose primarily really suitable for all ages, I suppose, which is it's a nice thing that you can build. You can add the tools as you're progressing from primary school to secondary school to university and on to employment or even other courses that you might be doing. So in the demonstration, I'm going to pass over to Julianne for this now, because my computer isn't doing what it should do today. So Julianne's going to pick this up for me. So in the demonstration, she's going to take a tour of the application. She's going to show us some of the features. So the text to speech, there's a lovely feature, screenshot reader, and that's a nice feature where you might have a picture on a document and there's a description of that picture underneath. And some of these text to speech softwares won't read that because it's attached to that picture. But here you have an option of taking a little screenshot of that, and it'll allow you read that. The dictionaries, Julianne's going to focus in on that, because I suppose I was looking for things that aren't on text aid that are on this. Vocab list, this is a lovely feature as well, because you can select some of the vocab. It'll pull that out of your document. It will give you an explanation of that vocab. It will give you a picture support around that vocab. And then there's also a notes section, so you can put in your own description of what that vocab is about. The highlighters, very similar to yesterday, but I think is a really lovely tool. The audio maker and the voice note. So I'm going to pass over to Julianne now just to do the demo, if that's okay, Julianne.
Thanks, Mary. I'm just going to
sharing now, Julianne.
Perfect. I think some warning came up there around the sound, so I'm not quite sure if the sound will work, but we'll see when we come to that in a second. So as Mary was introducing there, this product is a really useful tool for people who've got literacy difficulties, and you can see there it at the moment it's kind of toolbar mode across the top of the screen, so you can kind of see there's lots of different little icons up there. If you don't want to have this visible the whole time, you can use this little up arrow here to just hide it, and it just kind of gives you a little tiny icon instead. So for somebody who may not want other people to know that they're using specialist software or something like that, you can kind of hide it out of the way for when you're not using it. You also have kind of up here at the top under the information tab, you can kind of see video tours of all the different features. So if there's something we don't cover today, or if there's something you want more information on, that's where you find those video tours. You can also sign into your account up there. So as Mary was saying, across different devices or different platforms, you might have different features available. So what you look at on your iPad, you can, any of the settings you changed can be replicated across to your laptop then. I'm just going to go into the little settings menu here on the right hand side. I'm going to just go through a couple of the settings here, first of all, just to make you aware of them. There is kind of quick things here that you might want to turn on and off as you're going through your documents or going through your tasks. But for right now, I'm going down to the bottom there where it says show more settings. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is, yes, great, how you can personalize that toolbar at the top there. At the moment, it's pretty much showing all the different options available. You can see that they're kind of, for the most part, black and white, or sorry, black and blue icon, or sorry, white and blue icons. But you can choose if you want this to look different. For example, you can choose the different button sizes. I have it at medium at the moment, but you can easily make that large. So you can kind of see there much larger icons. Some of them have spilled off, and you've got like a more icon down here that you can access them if you've gone for the larger style. I'm going to put back to medium just for my own comfort in using this today. You can choose the button style. We've got the clear one at the moment, but you can also choose a colorful mode. So you can kind of see there slightly more cartoonish type images or emoji style. I'm just looking at the listen button there, for example. So it's about choosing what works for you. You can also choose to show the text. At the moment, we've only got the images of the different features up there, but you can have the label of that feature underneath as well, if that helps the student navigate through the different features that are up there. You can choose different colors of your toolbar. So for example, if you wanted to go bright red, you can do. I'm going to just put back to blue for now, and you can have it launching with Windows, so it launches with the startup of your device. There is also referencing styles here. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but if you're drawing information from different sources, you might want to choose the referencing style. So particularly for those at third level or might be involved in research, that can be a really useful tool. And just down here at the bottom, you can see there's loads of little icons here. These are matched with the ones up here on the toolbar. If, for example, somebody isn't using a particular feature, for example, they don't need to use screen masking, for example, I can turn that off here, and you'll see it disappeared from this area of the screen. If you keep an eye up there for a second, if I turn it back on, you'll see it kind of pops back in. So this allows you to personalize to the features that the student really requires, so the screen isn't too overwhelming for them. So for some people, they might just start off with the play and the pause button, and maybe the word prediction and a spell checker, for example. That might be all they use in a primary school setting. As we get up to secondary school, you might turn on some of the highlighting features and things like that as you kind of move upwards. And they've also on this screen got some keyboard shortcuts there as well if you're using alternative access methods. So for example, if somebody's visually impaired, they might use some of the keyboard shortcuts rather than trying to click on the icons up here. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is the text-to-speech, because this is what the majority of people would actually use it for. So designed for people who struggling with reading or might have English as a second language, have visual needs that makes it hard for them to read from the screen. So I'm just going to show you first of all the speech button, speech icon, or sorry, speech settings here. You can see here at the moment the voices you can choose from. These can be pulled from whatever is on your computer as well. So if you've got specific speech synthesizer software on your computer, it can pull through from there. You can change the voice speed. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard if you want kind of a quick way of making it faster or slower. So for example, if you're reading a document and it comes to content that you're already familiar with, you might want to kind of skip through that. Word pausing is how long to pause between words. So if somebody needs speech slowed down for processing, that can be a way to do it. And you can also change the pitch here. You can test your voice.
This is your new voice. Is it okay?
Can you hear that? I'm not sure if that went through. I just might move my microphone a little bit closer.
This is your new voice. Is it okay?
You can also add in words that might be unusual here. So for example, if you have a person's name, oh goodness, sorry. You might want to put in how it actually sounds. And click accept if you're happy with that. So you can add in words so that the pronunciation is better. You can also see there, you can turn on the options to call back or read back as you're typing. So you can have it read that each time you type in a letter, it will announce that letter. And you can also have screen reading options here for somebody who might need that extra level. I've also turned on read the web here, so this will allow reading from websites and allow you to read content from Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Just also I want to highlight here the speech highlighting. At the moment we've got it highlighting in the document, so when it's highlighting as it's reading, you'll see the colours changing there. It'll be highlighted in the document, but you can also choose to have it highlighting in a text reader. So it pulls it out separately into a separate window, or you can have it speaking using a one-word display. This is actually very useful for people who've got tunnel vision because it will display that one word in the center of the screen and they don't have to scan across the document, so just be aware of that. So you can choose here what the style you want. So for example, at the moment it's blue on a yellow background, but you can also choose other options there. So the sentence will be highlighted in yellow, or the utterance, and then the current word spoken will be highlighted in blue. So just to give you an example of this, I'm just going to go into one of my documents here. So I'm just clicking at the start of where I want the text-to-speech to begin and simply pressing play up here.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is an idea in psychology proposed by American psychologist A.
So I've just pressed the pause button up there. That will allow me to continue on from that particular point. I can also fast forward.
Maslow subsequently, his theories parallel many.
So that will allow you to move to the next sentence if you use the forward and rewind there, and you also have the stop. So when I press stop that time, it's turned off the speech reader. I have to tell it where to start next time. Just a couple of other things here. Just I want to mention this screenshot reader. So as Mary mentioned earlier on, sometimes you might come across an image in a document. This one, for example, if I start from here and press play.
6. The hierarchy remains a popular framework, for example, in sociology research, management training, 7, and higher education. 8.
And you can see there, it skipped that picture completely because it sees it as an image, not as text. This was kind of a screen capture or something like that. So in that case, we can use what we call, the screenshot reader up here. You simply click on that. It gives you crosshairs then that you can click and drag over the image where the text is. You'll see it's giving you a little pause for a second while it kind of scans through that and uses optical character recognition, so it tries to pull out the letters.
With the more basic needs at the.
So I don't know if you saw that, sorry I was talking over it, but
as a pyramid with the more basic needs at the.
So it's picked up some of the text there. It didn't pick up the first line for some reason. Not sure why I did that, but let's try that again.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is often represented as a pyramid, with the more basic needs at the...
So there you have it. You can see it's kind of kept it in the same place on screen, so it's not pulled the text and moved it to a completely different place. It's still in the context, and it's doing that highlighting as you read, so you can follow along visually with what you're hearing auditorially. So that's a really nice way of if you want to pull text from pictures or images. The next thing I want to show you very briefly is how you might pull text from other scanned in options. So particularly for those who might be still using physical books or journals or other kind of hard copy options, you can scan in documents as well. So you can do that with physical scanner, or you can, in this case, I've used a file that has already been scanned, and it's just sitting here on my computer. So I'm going to pull this in, and I can use that scan. You'll see it in a second. It's actually a double page scan, so somebody opened out the book and put it onto a photocopier, and the 2 pages are scanned in one. I'm going to make this into a Word document purely because I can edit it afterwards. I can maybe copy or highlight text that I think is particularly important, and I'm going to click scan here. It will ask me to give it a name. Doc, just for today, and it does its thing. So as I said, even though that this was an open book scan, it will recognize the fact that there's 2 columns of text there, and will pull that out into the scanned version. So hopefully it won't take too much longer. There we go. So here's our document. As I said, it was scanned, so it's put it into columns. If I start reading, you'll notice that it...
On the website for NMX, the official name for the blog World event, there's a promotional video in which...
So you can kind of see, sorry, apologies. It recognises the fact that this is a block of text, and that's a separate block of text there. So really handy, as I say, if you've got hard copy documents that you need to have read aloud. Okay, just going back to, I'm going to go back to this document here. Just to go through some of the other options that are available. You have screen masking here. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday when Mary was showing you TextAid. You can change this, sorry, at the moment you see it's kind of got a aqua-y blue, I suppose. And you can change that either using the little toolbar down here, or else you can go back in through the main menu. You can choose what way you want this done. So you can tint the whole screen. There's been some anecdotal research into whether tinting the screen helps people with dyslexia. I don't think there's been any robust conclusions from that research, but it seems to be anecdotal. You can choose that you want to underline the line that you're typing on, so that will just do kind of put a line like a ruler below the one you're working on. You can also tint the typing line, so only that area is. You can see there's lots of other options there. You can choose your color, you can choose the opacity, and how tall you want it as well. So I'm just going to choose this one. I'm just going to just highlight the line and come back out. So now if I'm typing on this line, you can see it's highlighted that line there for me with screen masking. And as I go through different lines, it will kind of keep that moving with me. So for people who lose their place in a document quite easy, this can be a really great way of finding out where you are in the document. Just also want to talk about some of the tools, the dictionary tools. So for example, I've just highlighted this word here, and I want to get a dictionary definition of it. So I'm going up to the dictionary up here. It's telling me that this is what this is. I can highlight this and have it played aloud.
1. The scientific study of the mind and behaviour. He studied child psychology.
So that's a kind of a simple definition of it. I can also then get a more advanced definition, not much in the difference there, or I can go and get a web dictionary definition as well. So I think it's dictionary.com that the software uses. You can also see here if there's a picture to go with that. So this is the picture that they've put in for psychology. Some people might want to access that directly. So for example, if I highlight this word, highlight this word, I can go directly to my picture dictionary up here and it will give me options around those. I'm just going to turn off the screen masking, sorry, it's just getting in the way there. Other things you can do are, for example, use your highlights up here. So for example, if there's things that are particularly important, you can choose to highlight certain things. So we're going to color this one in yellow. And we might want to take this, the theory is a classification system, and we might want to highlight that in blue. An interesting fact here, he never created a pyramid, so we might just put that back into yellow because it's to do with Maslow himself. And you can kind of keep going through this. At the end of your document then, you can kind of collect all your highlights together. So as I say, there's 4 different colors there, so you can use the 4 different colors to do various different things. So here you can kind of see it's grouped the yellow things I highlighted in yellow together and the one I highlighted in blue together. So this is kind of a nice way, and you can see there it's telling me the bibliography. Do you remember I mentioned the Harvard system? So this is Mary's document here. So you can see where it was saved on my computer and what sort of document it is. If you were pulling this from a journal, for example, it would have the proper highlighting there. Just going back to my main document, I just want to highlight one other thing there. I'm just going to erase the highlights. No, you're not going to do that for me. Sorry. Yeah. Mary mentioned the vocabulary tool, so I just want to mention what that is. So I'm just going to highlight a few different words here. Let's see, emotions. So this can be a really great way, if you're reading a document that has lots of new vocabulary in it, you can use this tool to highlight the words that maybe the person's struggling with or are new to them, and then you can use this vocabulary list tool. What it does is it pulls these words together and creates a new document with them, which will include the word, a definition, a picture, and some notes you might want to put in yourself there. So you can see there, for example, the 3 words that I pulled, psychology, emotions, and illustrations are there, and it's given me a little image to go with them. So a really nice way for students who might be tackling new content or new knowledge, this can be a really nice way of pulling together options there. The other thing I wanted to show very briefly, because I realize I'm going over a little bit here, it's just how it can be used for writing. They have this option up here in the top left. Sorry, this is a document that has lots of kind of spelling and grammar mistakes. So for example, motivational is spelled wrong there. In is the wrong version of the word in, all these kind of things. 5-tier, it's the wrong version. So we can use the check it option up here in the right to check our document. If it was working. There we go, sorry, wasn't giving it a chance. So go through your document, as you can see there, it's found 7 issues. It's telling me grammar error here, I've got the wrong version, so I click to replace this into the document, so it's done that for me. It then moves on. Maslow is not a word it recognizes, so you can just choose to ignore this type of error in this particular instance, or you can add it to your dictionary. Here you can see spelling error, motivational is wrong. So it kind of goes through all your errors there as well. If it's a case of it's not picking it up, you can use this similar words checker. So for example, I've highlighted the word tier there, and it's given me other options with dictionary definitions to help me choose which is the correct version. So we want this version instead. So click on that and it pops it in. And 2 last things very briefly. We also have the voice note here. This allows us to just enter in a little voice note. So for example, it's not transcribing this, although this does actually work really, really well with options like Dragon. We simply click on this here. Remember to check out the 5 different levels on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you can save that. sorry. And it will ask you where you want to save this. So you could save it to your desktop, for example, so you can find it easily and review it when you want to. And was there something else? Oh yeah, sorry, the word prediction tool is the last one. If I'm writing onwards and I'm struggling with writing, I can use the prediction tool, and that's the little prediction window there. So as I write, it's not picking up, sorry, it's helping to predict what words I might like to use. So you can see the different variations of words predicted there. It's actually calling them out as I hover over it as well. So if I'm not particularly sure which one is the one I want, I can hear it before I click on it. So, and it's kind of using context here. The word theory has been used a lot before this. Normally it might predict words like they, them, their, but because it's using context, it's now predicting words like theory and theology and other words that might fall into that realm. I'm going to stop there. Apologies for going over time, and I'll hand back to Mary.
Thank you, Julianne, for that. That was great. Thanks a million. So just to finish up, I suppose, ideas for use. So again, this is a tool to support people with reading, but it's also, you can see they're really valuable for supporting students or end users with writing as well, because it can really help with that writing flow. So, if, you know, the word predict there, that's a really nice feature to support somebody with their flow work. You know, they're not worrying about the spelling, they're just worrying about getting the content down, and the word prediction is helping them there. And you've other tools, you know, that you could, you know, that you can purchase, like Pinfriend, that does that word predicting for you, but it's built into this, which is really nice. I love those tools there for the researching. I love the highlighting and being able to drag that information into one place, just like TextAid yesterday. But what I really love is that, you know, pulling those words that might be new to you, not familiar, and you know, you get an explanation about what the word means, but you get the picture support, and you also can write in your own notes there, you know, to make it to help you, support you with your understanding as well. It grows with you. So like Julianne showed there, the toolbar, there's loads of tools on the toolbar, but you can chop them in and out to suit the end user or the student. So as they're starting off, they might just want one or two to get them familiar with the software, and then you can grow it as they're going through the different levels of school or college. The audio, I just think that's really useful for our auditory learners, really good for on the go, and again for revision notes if that's their preferred style of learning, and again for those people that are learning a language or learning English as a second language. Some alternatives out there. So you've got Natural Reader, but again, this is just text to speech again. So it's just, these are more text to speech. They don't have those added features that, you know, those additional features that Read or Write has. Speechify is another one, and TextAid, the one that I looked at yesterday. I suppose they're the two ones that I really like, because there's a lot of extra little bits in them. I suppose to compare them, TextAid is really nice, and it's got everything there on one panel, whereas your Read and Write, you can take out stuff and add in stuff. So again, it's down to the end user or the student, which would be more appropriate for them. So again, today, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time. And if there's any questions or if there's anything after, please, you can email either myself or Julianne. Thank you.